Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Malem Art and Vlog. Today we're exploring the extraordinary and deeply moving life of Vincent van Gogh, a Dutch Post-Impressionist painter whose work transformed the history of art. Although Van Gogh sold very few paintings during his lifetime, his legacy today stands among the greatest in human creativity. In this video, we'll explore Van Gogh's life from childhood to his final years, his parents and siblings, his profound relationship with his brother Theo van Gogh, his artistic influences, his major periods, his mental health struggles, and his fractured friendship with Paul Gauguin. We'll also look closely at his most famous artworks and guide you through art museums and galleries around the world where you can travel to see Van Gogh's paintings in person. And because so many people love taking a piece of that beauty home, I'll also share a practical guide to where you can buy Van Gogh inspired merchandise worldwide and which specific paintings get turned into prints, objects, clothing, and collectibles. Vincent Willem van Gogh was born on March 30, 1853 in Zundert, Netherlands. He was the eldest surviving child of Theodorus van Gogh, a Protestant minister, and Anna Cornelia Carpenters, an artistically inclined woman who enjoyed drawing and watercolor painting. Art and introspection were part of Vincent's environment from an early age. Vincent had 5 siblings, but the most important relationship of his life was with his younger brother, Theo van Gogh. Theo worked as an art dealer and became Vincent's lifelong emotional, financial, and artistic supporter. Their extensive correspondence, hundreds of letters, offers one of the most intimate records of an artist's inner life ever preserved. Vincent was sensitive, deeply emotional, and often struggled to find his place in the world. Before becoming an artist, he worked as an art dealer, teacher, missionary, and preacher, searching for purpose. It wasn't until his late 20s that he fully committed to painting. Van Gogh chose art not for fame or success, but as a spiritual and emotional calling. After failing as a preacher, he turned to painting as a way to express compassion for humanity, particularly the poor, working class, and rural laborers. He believed art could communicate truth, suffering, and hope more powerfully than words. His early influences included Jean-François Millet, whose depictions of peasants deeply resonated with Vincent's social conscience, as well as Rembrandt, admired for emotional depth and mastery of light. Dutch painters Anton Mauve, Joseph Israels, and Willem Roelofs also influenced his early earth tone style. From the beginning, Theo encouraged Vincent's artistic development by sending money, supplies, emotional reassurance, and professional advice. Without Theo, Vincent's artistic journey likely would not have survived. As Vincent matured, his influences expanded dramatically. He was inspired by Eugene Delacroix for expressive color, Peter Paul Rubens for movement and energy, and later by French Impressionists such as Claude Monet and Paul Cézanne, who reshaped his understanding of light, color, and structure. Van Gogh absorbed these influences and transformed them into something entirely his own: thick brushstrokes, swirling movement, intense color contrasts, and emotional urgency. His art was never about realism, it was about feeling, experience, and inner truth. Van Gogh's career lasted only about 10 years, yet it evolved rapidly through several major periods. In the early Dutch period from 1880 to 1885, dark, earthy colors and themes of labor and poverty dominate this phase. A defining work here is The Potato Eaters, where Van Gogh painted rural life with honesty and gravity. In the Paris period from 1886 to 1888, living with Theo, Vincent encountered Impressionism and Post-Impressionism. His palette brightened dramatically, and he produced many self-portraits and city scenes as he experimented with color and brush work. In the art period from 1888 to 1889, Vincent entered one of his most productive and emotionally intense phases. Bright yellows, bold blues, and radiant light define this era, giving us sunflowers, the yellow house, and the bedroom. In the Saint Remy period from 1889 to 1890, while hospitalized, Van Gogh produced deeply expressive works filled with motion and emotional intensity, including The Starry Night. Finally, in the Auvers-sur-Oise period, 1890, his final months were filled with urgency and raw emotion, producing works like Whitfield with Crows, which remains one of the most debated and emotionally powerful paintings in modern art. Van Gogh suffered from severe mental health struggles, including psychotic episodes, hallucinations, and delusions. While diagnoses vary today, it's clear that his condition deeply affected both his life and art. In all, Vincent invited Paul Gauguin to live and paint with him, dreaming of an artist community. However, their intense personalities clashed, arguments escalated, and in a famous breakdown, Vincent mutilated his own ear. The incident ended their friendship and marked a turning point in Vincent's mental health decline. Despite this, Van Gogh continued painting relentlessly, believing art was the only thing keeping him alive. Some of Vincent van Gogh's most iconic masterpieces include The Starry Night, painting in 1889, a swirling emotional vision of the night sky; Sunflowers, painting from 1888 to 1889, as symbols of hope, friendship, and vitality; The Bedroom, painted in 1888, a deeply personal depiction of rest and solitude; The Potato Eaters, painted in 1885, a raw portrayal of peasant life; and Whitfield with Crows, painted in 1890, often seen as a reflection of despair and intensity. For those of you that don't know about these artworks, allow me to give explanations to each of these artworks. The Starry Night, painting in 1889, is one of Vincent van Gogh's most iconic and emotionally charged paintings, widely regarded as a masterpiece of Post-Impressionism. Painted while Van Gogh was voluntarily residing at the asylum of Saint Paul de Marsal in Saint-Rémy-de-Provence, the work reflects both his inner psychological turbulence and his profound sensitivity to the natural world. The composition presents a night sky alive with movement, swirling clouds, radiant stars, and a luminous crescent moon dominate the canvas, creating a sense of cosmic energy. Below this animated sky lies a quiet village rendered in darker, more stable forms, suggesting a contrast between celestial intensity and earthly stillness. The tall cypress tree in the foreground rises like a dark flame, visually connecting the land and the sky and symbolically bridging life, death, and eternity. Van Gogh's use of color and brushwork is central to the painting's impact. Deep blues and violets establish the nocturnal atmosphere, while vibrant yellows and whites give the stars and moon an almost spiritual glow. The thick, rhythmic brushstrokes applied with urgency and direction transform the sky into a living presence rather than a passive backdrop. This approach reflects Van Gogh's belief that color and movement could express emotion more truthfully than realistic depiction. Although The Starry Night is inspired by the view from Van Gogh's asylum window, it is not a literal representation. The village is imagined rather than observed, and the sky is exaggerated and symbolic. The fusion of observation and imagination reveals Van Gogh's intent to convey inner experience rather than external reality. The painting captures a tension between chaos and calm, despair and hope emotions that closely mirror Van Gogh's own mental state during his period, marked by psychotic episodes, anxiety, and profound introspection. Importantly, Van Gogh did not consider The Starry Night one of his best works at the time, viewing it as overly imaginative, yet it is precisely this imaginative intensity that has made the painting so enduring. The work has since come to symbolize the idea that art can translate emotional struggle into beauty and meaning. Today, The Starry Night is housed at the Museum of Modern Art, MoMA, in New York City, where it stands as one of the most recognized paintings in the world. Its lasting power lies in its ability to communicate universal human emotions, wonder, fear, longing, and hope through color, movement, and form. In a sense, The Starry Night is not simply a night landscape, it is a visual expression of Van Gogh's inner life and a testament to his revolutionary belief that art should convey feeling as intensely as it depicts the world. Sunflowers, painted from 1888 to 1889, refers to a celebrated series of still life paintings by Vincent van Gogh, created during his time in Arles, France. Among the most recognizable images in Western art, these works are far more than decorative floor paintings. They are deeply symbolic expressions of Van Gogh's artistic ideals, emotional state, and vision for a new kind of modern art. Van Gogh painted the Sunflower series while preparing a home and studio, the Yellow House, for fellow artist Paul Gauguin, whom he hoped would join him in Arles to form a community of artists. Van Gogh intended the sunflowers to serve as a welcoming symbol of friendship, warmth, and creative unity. In this context, the paintings function as both personal statements and artistic declarations. The compositions typically depict sunflowers arranged in simple vases, some in full bloom, others wilting or decaying. This deliberate inclusion of flowers at different stages of life reflects Van Gogh's interest in the cycle of growth, vitality, and decay, a recurring theme throughout his work. Rather than striving for botanical accuracy, Van Gogh focused on capturing emotional truth and expressive power. Color is the defining force of the Sunflower series. Van Gogh boldly limited his palette, particularly emphasizing yellow in many variations, golden, ochre, lemon, and orange. At the time, this was highly unconventional. Yellow symbolized light, optimism, spiritual energy, and hope, but it also carried an intensity that bordered on instability. By pushing color to its expressive limits, Van Gogh challenged traditional expectations of harmony and realism. Equally significant is Van Gogh's brushwork. Thick applications of paint known as impasto give the sunflowers a sculptural quality. The paint appears almost carved onto the canvas, emphasizing texture and movement. This tactile service allows the viewer to feel the physical presence of the flowers and the artist's emotional urgency. Each brushstroke conveys rhythm and intensity, transforming an ordinary subject into something monumental. Stylistically, Sunflowers reflects Van Gogh's departure from Impressionism toward Post-Impressionism. While influenced by artists like Claude Monet in color exploration, Van Gogh rejected fleeting surface effects in favor of structure, symbolism, and emotional depth. The simplified background and flattened space place full attention on the flowers themselves, reinforcing their symbolic weight. Though Van Gogh hoped Gauguin would admire the paintings, Gauguin's response was mixed, and the collaboration eventually ended in conflict. In hindsight, the Sunflower series has come to represent Van Gogh's idealism and vulnerability, standing at the intersection of hope and emotional strain. Today, different versions of sunflowers are held in major museums around the world, and the painting is so beloved it has become a centerpiece for museum retail collections, especially in London at the National Gallery shop and Amsterdam through the official Van Gogh Museum shop. In a sense, sunflowers is not merely a still life, it is a declaration of Van Gogh's belief that color and texture could communicate emotion, meaning, and spiritual intensity. Through these radiant flowers, Van Gogh transformed a humble subject into a timeless symbol of creativity, friendship, and the power of artistic expression. The Bedroom, painting in 1888, is one of Vincent van Gogh's most personal and emotionally revealing paintings. Created while he was living in the Yellow House in Arles, France, the work offers a rare glimpse into the artist's inner desire for peace, stability, and rest during a period of intense creativity and psychological strain. The painting depicts Van Gogh's own bedroom furnished with simple, modest objects: a bed, 2 chairs, a small table, a mirror, framed pictures, and a window. At first glance, the scene appears calm and orderly, but closer inspection reveals deliberate distortions that transform the room into an emotional landscape rather than a realistic interior. Van Gogh intentionally flattened the perspective and exaggerated proportions. The walls tilt, the floor slopes, and the furniture seems slightly off balance. These distortions were not mistakes, they were conscious artistic choices. Van Gogh wanted to eliminate realistic depth and instead convey a sense of emotional simplicity and tranquility. He once described the painting as expressing absolute rest, hoping that its clear colors and simplified forms will calm the mind of the viewer. Color plays a crucial symbolic role in the bedroom. Van Gogh used bold, unmodulated hues, soft blues, lilacs, yellows, and greens to define space and objects. Rather than using shadows, he relied on contrasting colors to structure the composition. The warm tones of the bed and chairs suggest comfort and humanity, while the cool blues of the walls and doors evoke stillness and introspection. Together, these colors create a delicate balance between warmth and isolation. The empty room is significant. There are no people present, reinforcing a sense of solitude, yet the carefully arranged objects suggest that the space is deeply lived in and personal. The chairs may imply companionship or conversation, while their emptiness hints at loneliness, reflecting Van Gogh's longing for connection, particularly his hope of building an artist's community in all. Stylistically, the bedroom exemplifies Van Gogh's post-impressionist approach, moving beyond Impressionism's focus on fleeting light toward emotional and symbolic expression. Influences from Japanese woodblock prints are evident in the flattened space, bold outlines, and simplified forms. In a sense, the bedroom is not merely a depiction of a private space, it is a visual expression of Van Gogh's inner world through simplified form, expressive color, and intentional distortion. Van Gogh transformed an ordinary room into a powerful symbol of rest, vulnerability, and the human need for peace amid turmoil. The Potato Eaters, painted in 1885, is one of Vincent van Gogh's earliest major works and a powerful statement of his artistic and moral vision. Painted while he was living in Nieuwegein, the Netherlands, the work belongs to his early Dutch period, before his use of bright color and expressive brushwork fully emerged. Rather than aiming for beauty or refinement, Van Gogh sought to depict truth, labor, and dignity in rural life. The painting shows a peasant family gathered around a small table, sharing a modest meal of potatoes under the dim light of a hanging oil lamp. The figures are rendered with rough, exaggerated features, heavy hands, and tired expressions. Their faces appear weathered and almost sculptural, reflecting lives shaped by hard physical labor. Van Gogh intentionally avoided idealization, believing that portraying peasants as refined or elegant would be dishonest. Color and light play a crucial role in establishing the painting's mood. Van Gogh used a palette dominated by dark browns, greens, and grays, creating an earthy, almost claustrophobic atmosphere. This limited color range reinforces the harshness of peasant life and connects the figures directly to the soil they work. The dim light of the lamp casts uneven shadows, emphasizing the intimacy of the scene while also highlighting the isolation and poverty of the family. In a sense, The Potato Eaters is not simply a genre scene, it is a declaration of Van Gogh's commitment to realism, compassion, and the dignity of labor, marking the beginning of a revolutionary artistic journey. Whitfield with Crows, painted in 1890, is one of Vincent van Gogh's most emotionally charged and debated paintings. Created during the final weeks of his life in Auvers-sur-Oise, France, often interpreted as a reflection of inner turmoil and existential tension, the work stands as a powerful example of Van Gogh's late style marked by urgency, intensity, and expressive force. The composition presents a vast wheat field under a turbulent sky, intersected by three diverging paths that lead nowhere. Above the field, crows sweep across the canvas in restless motion. The scene feels open yet oppressive, expansive yet confined. Van Gogh deliberately constructed this visual contradiction to heighten emotional impact rather than to depict a literal landscape. In a sense, Whitfield with Crows is not merely a landscape, it is a psychological space, one where uncertainty, intensity, and raw emotion converge. Through bold color, aggressive brushwork, and an unsettled composition, Van Gogh transformed the natural world into a profound expression of the human condition at its most vulnerable. These works transform color and brushwork into emotional language, influencing expressionism and modern art forever. If you want to see Van Gogh's masterpieces in person, here are some of the most important museums worldwide. The Van Gogh Museum in Amsterdam holds the largest collection of his works and is also home to one of the world's most extensive Van Gogh-themed museum shops. In Paris, the Musée d'Orsay is essential for Van Gogh's French years. In the United States, the Museum of Modern Art, MoMA, in New York is famously home to the Starry Night, and MoMA's design store sells a wide range of official Starry Night merchandise, posters, magnets, notebooks, and even apparel. In London, the National Gallery is a major destination for sunflowers, and its shop sells sunflowers-based products like shirts and tea towels. Back in the Netherlands, the Kroller-Müller Museum in Otterlo is often called the second home of Van Gogh, and its museum shop ecosystem includes items based on works like Terrace of a Cafe at Night, Pink Peach Trees, Bridge at Arles, and more. Visiting these museums allows you to experience Van Gogh's brushstrokes, texture, and emotional force, something no screen can fully capture. Van Gogh died in 1890, believing he had failed as an artist. Yet after his death, Theo and later Theo's wife, Johanna van Gogh Bonger, ensured his work was preserved and exhibited. Today, Van Gogh is famous because he redefined artistic expression. His fearless use of color, emotional honesty, and expressive brushwork influenced generations of artists and reshaped modern art. He showed the world that art could express inner truth, not just outward reality. Around the world, the most reliable way to buy high-quality licensed Van Gogh merchandise is through museum shops connected to major collections. The official Van Gogh Museum Shop Amsterdam sells everything from almond blossom scarves to sunflower gifts, and the listings are explicitly branded as supporting the museum. The National Gallery Shop London sells multiple sunflowers products like embroidered t-shirts and tea towels tied directly to the painting's imagery. If you love the Starry Night, the MoMA Design Store is one of the strongest official sources offering posters, magnets, notebooks, and apparel themed around the painting. And for people who want Van Gogh designs beyond the greatest hits, the Kohler-Muller Museum Shop ecosystem includes products based on works like Terrace of a Cafe at Night, Bridge at Arles, Pink Peach Trees, Souvenir de Mauve, and more, often as mugs, coasters, cases, puzzles, and home goods. When you're naming the paintings that most commonly get turned into merchandise worldwide, the repeated favorites are the Starry Night, sunflowers, irises, almond blossom, and wheat field scenes because they translate so naturally into clothing, accessories, stationery, and decor. If you're in Toronto, one of the easiest places to buy Van Gogh merchandise is Shop AGO, the Art Gallery of Ontario's official shop. The AGO has an entire Van Gogh section, and you can find items like a set of 4 mugs featuring the Starry Night wheat field with cypresses, sunflowers, and irises. The AGO also carries Van Gogh puzzles like almond branches, Starry Night, and 12 sunflowers. Toronto also hosts large-scale ticketed immersive experiences. The new immersive Van Gogh, The Next Chapter, is promoted as a Toronto experience, and these productions typically include gift shop merchandise tied to famous paintings. In Windsor, it's important to be honest, Windsor doesn't have a dedicated Van Gogh museum shop the way Amsterdam or London does, but you can still find Van Gogh themed products in a few practical ways. First, Windsor's major public art gallery, Art Windsor Access, is a strong cultural stop for art lovers and sometimes hosts pop-ups and shopping events connected to local creatives. While that isn't the same as an official Van Gogh shop, it's a place where art culture and gift buying intersect locally. Second, for actual Van Gogh items on shelves, Windsor area book and gift retailers sometimes stock fine art puzzle lines featuring Van Gogh paintings like Starry Night. For example, Storytellers bookstore lists Van Gogh puzzles in its browse pages. Third, Windsor has framing and gallery businesses where you can commission prints and framing for a Van Gogh reproduction, great for decor, but typically not official museum licensed merchandise. Places like Nancy John's Gallery and Framing and Bergeron Art Frame clearly advertise custom framing services, which is how many people locally turn famous art into wall-ready pieces. Finally, Windsor's Chimzug Museum Gift Shop is a reliable local gift shop for artsy souvenirs and handmade items, though it's focused on local culture rather than Van Gogh specifically. Vincent van Gogh's life was one of struggle, passion, suffering, and extraordinary creativity. He painted not for recognition, but because he believed art could heal, connect, and express what words could not. Let's take a look at Vincent van Gogh's artwork, so sit back and enjoy. a look at my books on Amazon. Step into a beautiful world of courage, culture, and adventure with Makasi the Trouble Chief, a heartwarming book and fun-filled coloring book made especially for kids, designed to inspire young minds, spark creativity, and celebrate imagination. This special collection brings stories and art together in a joyful experience children will love. Makasi the Trouble Chief is an exciting adventure story that introduces children to courage, leadership, and the rich beauty of Africa through the eyes of a young hero. Makasi the Trouble Chief is more than an adventure book. It's a story about growing into leadership, protecting what matters, and becoming a hero through courage and kindness. Perfect for children who love action-packed stories, meaningful heroes, and discovering new worlds. Whether it's story time before bed or a relaxing coloring moment during the day, Makasi the Trouble Chief is perfect anytime, anywhere. These books are more than just pages, they are memories waiting to be created. Parents, family, friends, including you, can purchase the book and coloring book anytime and gift a child the joy of storytelling and creativity. Get your copy by visiting this link. The link is also in the YouTube description down below. Visit anytime to buy your book and coloring book. Bring home the adventure, inspire a child, experience the magic of Makasi today. Thank you for joining me on this journey through Van Gogh's life, art, and legacy. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments which Van Gogh painting you'd most like to see in person. This is G. Martin Vlog, and I'll see you in the next video.